Hey, gorgeous people. Let me know if you join in. We've been having some audio issues and I want to find out if the audio is going to be working today. If you are just joining us, let me know that you're here. Otherwise, we're going to have a conversation today all about how to do online consults really well. So I've been having a couple of emails and things coming in specifically around online consults and what things you might need, what needs to change, what systems and processes might be in place, what works, what doesn't work. Hey, Ina, can you just let me know if our audio is working well or if it's got a weird little echo, because we've been getting some strange little feedback on the audio. So if you're watching, please let me know how the audio is going. All right, so if it's going okay, then we can continue with the conversation all about online. Hi, Bronte, nice to see you here. Yep, all good, awesome. Okay, so hey, Rachel, nice to see you and whoever is joining us. I've been getting lots and lots of questions recently about online consults. How do I take my consults online? How does it work? What systems do I need in place? What works, what doesn't work? Is this better than this? So I thought we would start a conversation all about it. All right, online. I remember when I first did an online consult, and what I love about online consults is that you have the opportunity to talk to somebody who hasn't rushed to your clinic and has been late or early, who they haven't had to have parking issues, they haven't had to worry about where their kids are, they haven't had to, there's a whole bunch of worry and unexpected stresses that come with seeing you in clinic. And there's something really special and cool, and I didn't realize until I was running online consults, about someone being at home or at their office and just being able to be in their environment, because they're in a really different space and quite a bit more open to answering the questions that you have for them. They're a bit more open to getting straight into it rather than talking about the day and the weather and things like that. So the consult flows a little bit better once you've gotten over the technology side. The consult flows a bit better, is a bit quicker, and you are able to give them information right there and then, especially if you've got the system set up. So yeah, that's my experience of the good world of online consults. Now, there are also challenges that come with online consults. Things like, if you don't have the systems in place, it can be really clunky. Things like people who are used to coming and seeing you in person do need to be educated around how beneficial it could be to actually see you online. There is also the tech. So should we go with Skype? Should we go with Zoom? Is there some other random thing? Am I available on Facebook Messenger? Do I do it over a phone call? Like, there's some really interesting little challenges that come up with that. And then what if my Wi-Fi goes down? So I've also been in that situation where our entire Wi-Fi system went down, and given that our entire clinic was online, that brings about its own challenges, but they are totally figure outable. You can overcome any of these challenges quite quickly and easily, even with a mobile phone. So if you have any questions specifically to do with online consults, please ask them in the chat box, because I'll be able to answer them today. All right, so when it comes to online consults, first step is you want to walk people through the experience of an online consult with you. So you do have to be able to have most of the options on how to get an online consult online. So unlike a normal consult that's in your clinic, they don't generally ring up for that. So what is the other thing that they would do online, which is a version of ringing up and booking in? It's an online booking system. So if you haven't got an online booking system yet, then you need to find an online booking system that works. One where if somebody is scrolling on a Sunday night and worried about their health because they had a big weekend or they're doing some other random thing, and they can scroll through and literally click on with one finger to book in with you and a time available and what type of consult they're going to have with you, and then be able to pay for it right then and there, It's going to create a simplified way of getting people in. I'm always up for the one-click wonder. You know, when you're on Amazon, I don't know. I'm a little bit of a book geek, and Amazon and Audible have one click. You're literally scrolling through trying to find the book that you heard about on a podcast or you heard about somewhere else, and they have a button that says one click to buy. And I click that, and then it comes straight into my device and I can read it before bed or whatever it happens to be. So the easier and more simple you can make it for somebody to come in and see you online, the more likely they are to have an online consult with you. So when you have an online booking system, something like Simple Clinic, something like Acuity, something like so Acuity is a smaller version, then we've got Simple Clinic, then we've got even Clinico, and then we've got bigger systems as well. As long as you have an online booking system, then you have a chance for those to get really simple. The one I use currently is Acuity, and the cool thing about it is it's got integrations with not only my calendar, but it's also got an integration with my bookkeeping system. It's got an integration with sending out a booking, so it integrates with Stripe, so someone can pay to come and see me straight away. And again, the more simple you can make it, particularly if you can get payment for the consult before they come in. And yes, it feels a little bit weird first up when you actually are getting paid before that person comes in, but because you've been paid, you show up in a really different way. You're ready to go. So a way of taking payment, and then it has an automated response system, so an autoresponder or a reminder system that I don't have to worry about. None of that I have anything to do with. So it takes their booking, it takes their payment, it reminds them that when it's on and where it is, and it even sends a reminder email of how to be present in the system for either Skype or Zoom for their consult, how to do that. It automatically sends all that information out. So the big thing there is to make sure that however you do it, have it automated so that it's super simple and it's customer orientated. So 1, get an online booking system. 2, one of the biggest hurdles for most of us to get over is getting paid before. And the thing about doing online is a very different position to being in person, because obviously in person they're going to be able to give you the money. Whereas online, if you've presented, you've done your consultation, you send them the information, and then you send them an invoice, they don't actually have to pay that. So getting paid first means that there is an interaction and there is an investment in it. And as long as you can get that done easily straight up front, then the better off you'll be. Systems that integrate with things like Simple Clinic, things like Acuity, the 3 main systems. 1 is PayPal. PayPal's super easy. If you've got a business account, you can set up a PayPal link and people can pay you straight away. 2 is Stripe. It's a little bit more complicated because it has to talk to a program to be able to get paid, because it's just a payment gateway. It's not actually where they take the money. And then 3 is Easy Debit. Easy Debit's an Australian company that that has Australian security standards, and that is able to take payments through a gateway like Simple Clinic or other processes. So you have to have 1, a booking system, 2, a way to get paid, 3, an automated response. So an automated response is not you sitting there typing away, oh, it'll be wonderful to see you on Thursday. Here is my questionnaire. Can you fill out the questionnaire before you come? That template or that script is already built in to an email reminder for them. And the best way to be able to get that information and make the most of the time that you have with them online is by sending out a questionnaire straight away. So with all of the systems that I've spoken about, Acuity, Simple Clinic, and Clinico, they do have a way of attaching a file. Now, that's not quite as cool as being able to just have that filled out and then it appearing on your client's file itself, which is available from Simple Clinic, not available from Clinico as yet. But getting them to fill out that questionnaire allows you to step into knowing what you're going to be talking to them about straight away, and even doing a little bit of research as to what products might be able to help along the way as well. So that automated response is 1, to get information from them. 2 is to get information to them about how your consult runs. So just like you would provide frequently asked questions for your clinic or things like that, you're going to provide the same type of information for an online consult. Now, quirky, interesting things that happen with online consults is people who aren't used to tech, you want to make it as simple as you can. Now, Skype and Zoom have their advantages and disadvantages when it comes to how simple or how accessible they are. My preference at the moment is Zoom. Zoom has a lot of capabilities, and you can just ring up from your phone and still use the video version of it, which is a little bit different to, say, some of the technology that's available in Skype. I also find that Zoom is a lot more stable than Skype. Skype tends to drop out and is a little bit funny with reception and has a lot of jittery kind of issues, whereas Zoom I haven't found the same kind of problems with. But that's me personally and where I live and the area that I'm at. So, and I also find that Zoom has these new levels of security that I particularly like when people are telling you sensitive information. So to be able to get onto that, you need to have sent them an email to educate them around how to get onto it. So the invitation comes in, it lets them know how to access it via computer or how to call in. And you give them little hints and tips of just fill out this particular bit, press this button. So you're educating them through an email, and you are empowering them to be able to get online with you quite quickly and easily. So once you've got your information coming in, questionnaire, information going out, here is how you're going to get in contact with me. And then there's the reminder the day before of this is how you get in. And then you've got to put the caveat in there. So that's the I think we're up to part 4. So the number 4 is all about what happens when things go wrong. So this is only available really at the last minute. It's what happens if things go wrong, because if something does go wrong, they're going to go to the last email that you sent them. And so if they can't get in contact, you want to educate them that you may be up to 10 minutes late because all of your other clients might be, running over. And if they can't get into contact, please ring the clinic on this number, or please use Skype for this particular number. So you've got a backup plan, and they're aware of the backup plan. They're informed. They've got the information so that their online consult works nice and smoothly. And if it doesn't, there is a way for them to get in contact with you. Cool. All right. So we've got a booking system. We've got a payment gateway. We've got automated responses, and we've got a backup plan. After you've done all of those things, it's then time to actually turn up online. Now, the way I like to think about it, there's a couple of different ways I like to think about it, but the main thing is you happen to be in a clinic space. It just happens to be in the interwebs. So having the space set up just like your clinic space, so it's a level of professionalism, and you're not in your bedroom with some random poster on the back wall or something like that. So you've got a level of professionalism there. You've got light that they can actually see your face, because let's face it, one of the reasons that people come and see you as a practitioner is because of who you are and your personability, connecting with you. And us as humans connect through sight, And we connect through our eyesight, as well as people looking at us, as well as our micro movements. And the way that we'll be reading that particular person will be very similar way to the way that they're reading us. So having lighting, so at the moment I have a large softbox that is actually lighting my face. You can get a softbox for like $10 on eBay, or you can get these really cool, I wasn't quite prepared for this, you can get these really cool ring lights that you can just click over your camera on your computer. So you want to be making sure that there's some nice light so people can see you, and you have access to be able to see them. Now, this is one of my little stickling points as a practitioner. Being a practitioner who sees, you're seeing a person and a big bag of cells, and if you can't see that bag of cells, it's hard to tell what's actually going on. So I prefer online consults to phone consults. And again, I'm a little bit of a rebel in that I really believe that initial consultations can be done online if you have really good clinical case taking and questioning around what's going on for that person. So with that, you want to be making sure that you're able to see them. When you have a question about their body, you want to be able to see that. So you want to be able to see their nails. You want to be able to see what's going on underneath. You want to be able to see their conjunctiva. You want to be able to have those kind of conversations. It just happens to be in this space that we call online. So that's probably number 5. Making sure that you are present in a room, that you have a level of professionalism, and that you have access to being able to see the client. All right. After that, you have the opportunity to conduct your consult the same way as you would in clinic, in that on your desktop, you can not only see them, and this is the other thing, right? We connect through our eyesight, and being able to keep a person's eyes first and foremost. The thing is, when you are looking online, I'm actually looking down here at my eyes, and you guys are up there, aren't you? And so you want to be able to get used to the notion of looking at the person and then being able to remain eyesight through your camera. So you want to be able to continue a conversation and pretend that that person is tiny little person just inside the camera and talk to the camera, because otherwise they feel like you're talking to somebody else because you just keep looking at their face further down on the screen. Cool. So some little tips and tricks around using video and online. All right. So you're conducting your consultation, and just like any other consultation, you are note-taking, but it's even more important to keep eye contact when you are running an online consult, because they can't actually be there and see you. So writing notes isn't going to be the best use of your time. So again, if you have an online booking system or an online clinic system, clinic management system, you can get their file up and have not only them in the screen in front of you, but you can have their file there and be typing away and taking the notes at the same time. So this brings me to number 7, which is all about systems. First, you've got your booking system, then you've got your payment system, then you have your clinic management system. So you are taking their notes, even if it is taking their notes on a Word document and you're keeping that securely on your computer. You want to be taking the notes as they're speaking and connecting at the same time, so that you're not writing something up at the end as you go into your next client. So after you have been able to hold this space, type their notes, then there's systems, there's follow-up systems. Now, the cool thing I love about Simple Clinic is they've got all the follow-up systems there, and there are certain systems in Clinico that allow you to do this as well. But what I have learnt for online consultations is if you have all of the systems open tabs, then you can click through who you're talking to, what you need to be doing all at that same time, so that it can be completely condensed into that half an hour or however long your consultation is. So first, you've got Zoom up. You're talking, you're speaking, you're getting your information. Then you've got your clinic management system and you are typing in their results. Then you've got your vital.ly, or you've got your Oriya, you've got your supplier and your distribution channel open so that you can then do your prescription right there and then, and it can be sent out before you've even finished the consultation. So you've got your distribution of your particular prescription open right there and then. You've also got your copy of that because you already opened their file. You've got your copy of what you've prescribed them right there and then. You've then got the opportunity to send them an email. So you need your emails tab open as a follow-up. That was wonderful to speak to you today. And it's literally before they even shut down the computer. It's wonderful to speak to you today. Here's your prescription. Don't forget these 5 things. This is the important stuff, and we'll see you on the next booking. Here's the booking tab, right? Or here's the hyperlink to book again. So then you've got that one sorted. You've also got your pathology open. So there is a number of pathology, Naturopaths do it now, where you can order pathology online. And so you're ordering all of the things that they need even before the consult's completed. Lastly, if you are somebody who is still a little bit worried about the payment gateways and the systems and things, then you also have your bookkeeping service, so your Xero or whatever you're using to create an invoice. You create that before the completion of the consult, and you either take their credit card details and Square. You can actually do this online here with Square as well. Is that at the end of and the conclusion of the consultation, okay, right, we've got 5 minutes left, and I'm just gonna send you this email. I've sent the prescription away for you, and you'll get those within 5 to 10 days. In the meantime, you need to do this. It's on the email. And there's also a way of booking in. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. And how would you like to pay for that today? I can take credit card, which you've got your Square open on there, and you take the credit card details and you take it and the payment's done. Or I can send you the invoice. I wouldn't suggest invoice because honestly, they don't have to pay you. So at that point in time, you either send the invoice or you take their payment. Now, the other little clincher here is online consultations are not taken as a consultation via health funds in Australia. So you need to be making that clear somewhere along the sequence of events that because it's an online consultation, it's just payment. That's it. So then you've brought the entire thing to completion. You have gone from woe to go, and by the end of that half hour, you've created a plan for them, or even if you haven't created that plan yet, you sent them an email acknowledging that you'll have that plan by X amount of time, and you have all of those boxes ticked. And then you've completed the online consult. You can shut down your Zoom, and then you get to go on with next person, next person, next person. So that's what I've seen works well. Okay, little glitches that might happen. You want to be able to set up this simplified system, and it feels like it's a lot of effort to set it up, but when you are somebody who wants to book in with you, you want that nice and simplified at the beginning. So it feels like work for you to set it up, but once it's set up for good, and then it's done, and you can continue to do those types of consultations for however long, and it automatically goes and gets sent out. The thing that I would suggest is having a backup plan, particularly on your phone. So having a backup plan, like downloading the Skype app and downloading the Zoom app on your phone. I highly suggest doing it on your computer. But if you don't, make sure you have a backup plan on your phone so that you can get in contact with them. All of your booking systems, things like Acuity, Simple Clinic, or Clinico, you can fill out their details on how to get in contact. Because if you have their phone number, you then can still have a phone consultation if all of the things don't end up working. But ideally, you want to be able to see them. You want to be able to have it nice and smooth. You want to have, everything all completed by the end of that consult, so then it's out and done and the next person can come in. So this is really cool. All right. So hopefully those 7, did we get to 7 or 8 steps, are going to be beneficial for you to do your online consults. If you have any questions about it, please pop them in the box. I'm really open to answering any questions that you have. I want you to feel really confident in running these because this is the way of the future. There is a lot of futurists. It's their job to look into the future and predict what's going to happen. A lot of futurists are saying that health is moving online, and you can see it over in America. There's even doctors, a lot of doctors moving their information and getting things across online. And it makes sense. We have this mass in Australia, huge rural population that can't actually come and physically see us, and they don't have access to us in a way that we could possibly in the future. We have people who are working longer and longer hours and do need to access us during their lunch break from their desk possibly. So being accessible in this way allows people to get this information from a professional in a professional manner, and it allows us to run a business as well as get across our message and help people in their environment, not necessarily in our environment. And by 2030, they're thinking that there's a lot of, again, I can pop up some little details about these futurists ideas about, by 2030, they're thinking about 30% of the medical profession will actually be in this space. They're called teleconsultations in America. So running an online consult is going to be really the way of the future. Now, this is the other little thing. We're in this lag moment where we are moving up to online consults. Our peeps are moving up to online consults, but things like our associations, things like insurance, things like private health insurance and our own personal and private public indemnity, they aren't quite catching up, but they're going to, because it's just taking over. So we are in a little lag at the moment. So you do have to make sure that all of your little bits and pieces are covered. So you do have to check with your association, you do have to check with your insurer, and you do have to check with, if you are having consults outside of Australia, you definitely have to check with your insurer. There isn't a lot of insurance companies that are covering that outside of Australia, and there are more and more that are changing, and associations that are changing their rules and regulations around it. So you have to check with your own insurer, and you have to check with your own association to be able to make sure that you've got that in place. Alison, I find it really hard to interject without feeling rude or moving them to another topic. Also getting them to stop rambling. Yeah, so it's just the same as being in clinic as well. So often we have an idea, or you will have an idea about where the issues are, and being able to beautifully honor them, and their part of the therapeutic process is them getting their story out. And you have to honor their time. They often forget about and we do too, forget about the time when they're really in their story. And what you can come back to is the truth. And the truth is we've only got 7 more minutes to go. And I really wanted to hone in on this particular situation with your body, because this is the one that is causing the underlying cause of all of these things. And naturopathically, that's what we do. So can you answer these just really specific questions for me? Boom, 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 boom. So bringing people back to the honest truth about time, the honest truth about what is actually important for their particular body and their particular situation at the moment, and acknowledging where they're at. One of the biggest things we do as humans is need to be heard. So acknowledging that you heard them, and then going to the crux of what you need to actually get out in the time frame that you have, can be freeing for everybody, because it's then very clear and transparent where both of you are headed on the journey to getting your consultation done. All right. All right. Awesome, Francesca. I'm excited that it's coming in handy. Julie, have you ever done overseas consults, and how do you prescribe? Yes, I have done overseas consults. My hints and tips around overseas consults. One, you are completely not covered by insurance. So everything that you have said to that particular person, if it doesn't work out well for them and they choose to legally find recurrence with you, then you are in a very deep, risky grey area. So one, it's not covered by insurance. Two, I actually saw the people that I did overseas consults with, I had seen them at some earlier stage, so I was able to do the overseas consult. The situation with the prescribing was that I found the place that was nearest to them. With my knowledge, I chose the things that were more viable for them. And yes, it's hard to prescribe, but when you get to the basics of which action do we need, what particular remedy are we looking for, at what particular potency, and is it available either online or offline near to them, I had to do that research. But I am a big believer in that person getting the medicine that they need in whatever format that medicine comes in. It can be lifestyle advice as well, but I prescribe vitamins, supplements, and herbal tonics and herbal tinctures. And I would rather them buy it there, wherever they are, than have any access to my prescription and all that kind of stuff. So I'm all for helping somebody if they need help. But the thing about doing the online consult is I was very, again, clear and transparent at the beginning that this is not something usually done. This is not covered by insurance. This is because I, and being very clear that I'm here to help. I'm doing these types of things. There is a legal disclaimer around what you talk about. It is kind of hard for them from another country to try and come over here and legally go against us because it's actually our legal system. And so taking legal action from another country into ours is going to be difficult, and it'd have to have gone really pear-shaped. But legally, I'm here to tell you, you are not covered by insurance. So you need to be very clear and very specific about those types of conversations that you have with overseas clients, if you do have them. And prescription, yeah, use your knowledge, use the wisdom and what you've learned in your training to be able to prescribe for them. And don't be so, well, for me, it was a matter of I'm not attached to the monetary amount that I would get from those supplements. I'm more attached to the outcome for that particular client being overseas. Lisa, you'll have to watch it. Awesome. Julie, and diagnosing will be done by robots very soon. We will be needed for more holistic care, which a robot can't provide. I completely agree with you, Julie. They'll find an algorithm and an AI that is able to diagnose quicker than we can. quicker than the allopathic medicine can. But like you said, it's being able to provide a space, albeit in their space and in our space that happens to be connected by the interweb space, providing a space for them to be therapeutically and holistically held to get the therapeutic shift that they can get. Alison, I think it's harder to do that in an online appointment. Okay, cool. So my invitation is to lean in and see what it's like to have more conversations online. The more practice you get, the easier it'll be. If you're used to doing it in person, then you're obviously going to have a frame around what it's like to do it in person versus online. First time I got in front of video cameras online, wow. And offline as well. The first time you actually look into that very small little aperture and you are there trying to connect with a small dot on your computer, yeah, it's really different. And now, because I have practice, I have a different frame around what I believe that to be and how beneficial it could be. So if I believe it, so it is. So yeah, Bronte. Do you get clients to send in pics of their eyes, tongue, and nails before the consult? That could be an idea. I don't, but that's totally doable now with technology. We could do all the same things on our phones and things. I do get them to send in their pathology results, so it wouldn't be all that different. But I do often get them to pull down their conjunctiva and other bits and pieces. If they've got skin conditions, I get them to show me online as well. Lou, time management is hard. Yes, time management can be difficult. If you have the first time I ran one of these, I had a little script next to like just a little post-it note to remind me about where I needed to be, what I needed to cover. And I absolutely suggest having a 10 minutes before your consultation's finished, having a quiet timer on your phone allows you to go and see the flashing on one side. Okay, so we've got 10 minutes to go. We've covered this, and this. We need to cover this other thing. Is there anything really specific that you need to cover right now? So I'm really integrity and transparency and honoring one another's time. We can easily flippantly think that we can give more in more time, and somehow that's giving more value, but everybody's busy. And creating a space where you can be really clear about what's coming up, clear about the timing and when it's due, allows people to actually have a conversation about it rather than it being some weird thing in the background where you're like, I'm not really good at time management. I need to overgive and give you lots more time. That'll be, $50 less because I went, like, it's murky. It's much easier to be really clear about it. Susan, do you record the Zoom or Skype consults? Nope. Just like being in person? No, I don't. I believe that having that conversation is what needs to happen at that particular time. I would not record it. The continuum of that is, if you are recording it, you need to let that person know. Legally, where do you stand with the information that you gave at that particular time with that particular amount of information at that particular, if something weird or wacky happens? So no, Susan, I don't. Katie, I've used Vitally for UK and New Zealand. I've also contacted a herbalist in London to fill a prescription. Yeah, I've done the same. Herbalists in the UK are amazing, and they've always got access to such yumminess over there. So cool. Siobhan, I live in a two-room unit with 3 children, so I'm set up as a mobile practitioner. If I was to go online, how professional does the background need to be if you literally do not have a clinic space? Awesome question, Siobhan. I love it. All right. Oh, I don't have my backdrop. Okay, so you can get a backdrop online. There's photographic backdrops. And you can go to eBay and look up photographic backdrop. Essentially, it's a glorified sheet. And you could do a sheet if you wanted to, but it makes a blank behind you so that you can hide all of you. I've got a video on it actually. When I first got my backdrop, it'll be on my YouTube channel, and you can hide all manner of things. Like, I think when I did it, I had laundry, and I had, like, the Chinese laundry where you just drying all the stuff and it was raining outside. So you can have this backdrop, a photographic backdrop. It's usually a sheet, and it can hide stuff, and you can just sit there and yeah. But you do have to have a level of professionalism, because you wouldn't expect to go and see a clinician in a space that is their bedroom, really. It's and I guess while I'm thinking about it, that there's a level of transparency there that's quite nice. But I do think that going professional allows a level of confidence in your clients to talk to you about things that they wouldn't usually talk to other people about. So 1, a sheet. 2, just hop onto eBay and look up photographic backdrops. My other favorite is Bespoke Backdrops. Emma is incredible. She actually made my backdrop. It's called Bespoke Backdrops from Australia. She's an artist and an upholsterer. She used to make incredible furniture, and now makes these incredible backdrops, especially if you're in the level of business where you can you have a little bit of money to spend, you've got branding, and you want to get branding to match your backdrop. It's beautiful, just in case you wanted to know. So totally cool. Lisa, great idea. Love this. I do this in my normal consults with the timer, but I love the idea of having notes on what you want to cover. Yeah, especially if you've already got their questionnaire and you need to clarify with some good clinical questioning. It's really good tip. Katie, I actually find people are more open with me online. I agree completely. That's one of the biggest things I found through doing it. They just, divulge so much more by being in a really calm space. Rachel finds the same. Awesome. Oh, Alison mentioned you can get vinyl banners done at Vistaprint. Yeah, cool. Christy, yeah, Chinese laundry. We're all humans. Awesome. Okay. Other little tips or tricks. Audio is really important. I do have a microphone here. They cost $100 from JB Hi-Fi. I have had lapel mics before. It cost about $5 off eBay. But being able to hear you so that nothing is misinterpreted is really important. Being able to record what's happening at that time on notes is really important as well, because we do have to keep in mind some of those other bits and pieces in there. Christy says, so no Skypes around the pool. Is there any limitations for me being outside of Australia when traveling and consulting that you know of? No, not that I know of. But again, my suggestion is to make sure that you are you check with your insurance company. I have also Skyped by the pool, to be honest. I spend a month or two in Indonesia every year, and I definitely have helped clients with business and with health from my phone, like that. So when you're coming from an intention of helping, you're helping no matter what, you know, and if something comes up for somebody, you want to be able to be accessible to them. So yeah, cool. Okay, hopefully this has been helpful. If it's been helpful for you or somebody else that you know, please share it. And you can follow all of this on Training Thursdays here in the Naturpreneur Hub, or you can follow up any ones that you haven't seen before on my YouTube channel. And if you would like something really exciting, a new topic to talk about, don't hesitate to email hello@tammyguest.com, and we will be taking your requests as we speak. And you might find that a video coming up will be all about your topic. All right, go forth and help lots of people in your online or offline space. And yeah, be well. Thanks heaps for joining in today and asking all your amazing questions. See you next time on Training Thursday. Bye.